I think that part of the magic. I guess when you know who thinks they are the bigger star.
Well, I mean, you just can't help yourself. You're like, I'm going.
I know, because I'm ready to talk.
We haven't slated.
Okay, could we go? Denver, can we go? Okay, let's go.
All right. Glitter and Gay, episode 1.
But it's season 2, episode 1.
Okay. Glitter and Gay, season 2, episode 1. Welcome to my home.
You mean my home?
Okay, it's neither of our homes.
But it is our podcast.
Glitter and Gay.
Coming your way.
So thanks for tuning in today.
Welcome
to my house.
And this really is my house.
I know. We've had a change in scenery for season 2.
We have.
I have flown down to the Peach.
Yes.
Is all of Georgia the Peach, or is just Atlanta the Peach?
It's the Peach State.
It's the Peach State.
Peaches are our actual state fruit.
Are they good here?
They're fabulous.
Okay, I'll have to have a peach before I leave.
Yeah.
To see what all the fuss is about.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And I am in your beautiful, gorgeous, magnificent home.
Thank you.
And I'm not just saying that to butter you up. The views. When I woke up this morning, I was up at 5:30. I was reading, and then I finally opened the blinds, and I saw the fog, and I saw the sun coming up, and you've got the river and these other beautiful homes. I'm very happy for you.
I don't think that people realize until they're in my house, the vibe, the energy that it has. And, obviously I would love to take all of the credit for that. But I think this house just is one of those houses that has that spirit. It has its own, it just has its own thing. And I've never slept in the guest room.
I have.
So but I thought it's almost like a double master plan, really. Uh-huh. And so I had thought about, sleeping in there to think maybe I might want to be in that room. So I don't know what the vibe of it is when you wake up, but I'm thrilled that when you woke up, it brought happiness to your heart.
I actually want to ask you a question about that. What made you, because it is kind of like a double primary layout.
Yeah.
What made you decide to use that one over that one?
The makeup area.
Really?
Yeah, because I sit down to put on my makeup.
Interesting. I actually thought that the bathroom in this one, I felt like I had the biggest bathroom in the house. The bathroom over there is a little bit bigger than yours, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
So the bathroom in the secondary or the second primary is bigger, but I like to sit down and put on my makeup. And the vanities are European height. Mm-hmm. So it's only a stand up or a bar stool and there's no knee hole. So for me, I wanted to have my little glam area, and that one gives me that.
Well, I mean, I would say this entire house is glam area because you have definitely Glendified it.
A lot of it was like this.
And they did not come with these pillows. And I'm looking behind you. They can't see it on camera. I am looking at a gold shimmery cowhide ottoman. So do not tell me that was already like that.
No. So you know what? I bought 4 of those because they double as a table or seating, because this table that we're around, and I don't know if anybody can see it, but this table, it has 13 legs. I bought it at auction. It almost looks like a wagon wheel.
It does.
But
I just saw you standing on it.
I danced on it for my 40th.
Okay.
Is that hilarious?
Oh, so you've had it for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. I bought it at auction. I paid $50 for it.
Oh,
it cost me more to get it to my house than I paid for it. And every time I look at it, I think maybe it's the imperfections in it, the uniqueness, the eccentricity. Is that how you say it?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
so it works for me.
The eccentric nature of it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like my little spirit animal table. So I mean, I look at it and it's different than everything else. And so I for me, it just kind of spoke to me, and I love it.
It works actually really well in this room, like really well in this room. This room has, you've got these high vaulted ceilings with all the exposed wood. It's actually a perfect match for this room.
Well, when we were at your house in Sag Harbor, and we were in front of your like a spectacular, this amazing house with just that you've decorated to the nines, and we're sitting in front of this fireplace with these gazillion-dollar chairs, and I'm thinking to myself, if we shoot in Atlanta, like I really want to shoot in the family room. It's so dramatic, and even though it's not as like beautiful, it has this almost like a warm hug. This room feels like I think
this room is just as beautiful, if not. You have like the more dramatic ceilings.
Yeah.
To say it's not as beautiful, she can hear you. Your house can hear you. Don't talk about her like that.
No. Maybe not as beautiful is not the right word, but it has such a different feel than the house at Sag Harbor.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, oh goodness gracious, is my house going to be like as good as this house? But I wanted to shoot.
That comparison brain.
It is. But I wanted to shoot in front of this fireplace. And when Denver like shot it down, I was like, oh gosh, darn it. And then,
as the universe would have it, we went to the bathroom and we came back out, and Denver was like, I've chosen this fireplace.
I know.
And here we are. Believe it or not, our first episode of season 2 is not about this house.
It's not.
It's about season 1.
It is. So in real life, we're at season 9. We're at episode 9.
I was like, where was I? Was I not invited for seasons 2 through 8?
No, in real life, we're at episode 9.
We are.
Are you in the floor at the response?
I am dead over the response. All right. So I had Cam, our marketing person, was looking at a lot of the data. Here was the stats that really just made my heart sing, because I think it tells a really positive story. So our views and listens and downloads increase by a couple thousand each week, which tells me, that we have a good retention. It means like people are coming back, people are enjoying it. And that just like means the world to me. But not only that, because we're not marketing and we're not part of a like podcast, conglomerate that, because did you know that's how most of them work? It's kind of like Netflix. And so there are like these podcasting production companies that have all these podcasts underneath them, and then they produce them, and then they're the ones pushing it out to their audience. And they do have a big audience, and maybe it's something we'll consider one day. But what's nice is ours has been all organic, meaning that all of the people who are listening are telling people to listen, and more people are coming back. And then those people are telling more people to listen and come back. And then I kept thinking in my head, I was like, at some point, just based off of like my experience doing videos in the past, it's like you build your audience and then it kind of plateaus a little bit, like you've got your people, so grateful for it. And then it just kind of lives there. And so we keep watching the views each week, wanting to know like, when are we going to cap out this season? And of course there's going to be moments, and I thought it's usually in the middle. And so I thought episode 6 would be like right where we start to see around the peak. Do you know, from episode 6 to episode 7, our audience doubled.
Are you serious?
It doubled that week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so really interested to see how much of that stays, and because that was our biggest jump.
Right.
And so it was just really fascinating. But what I am loving about this whole experience, we've been doing short form content forever.
Yeah.
And then, even for me, when I was on a TV show, we film around the clock, but then they're editing that down. Every episode is 40 minutes. There's 5 cast members. So let's say 8 minutes an episode, and we do 15 episodes. You're getting across, 3 or 4 months of episodes. You're really only getting about an hour of my life.
Right.
Which is, maybe that's plenty.
I don't think so.
Thank you. I can't say it, but you can. But what I love about this is it's the only time I'm having so much fun doing it, because it's the only time that I think I've ever had a platform to really tell a story and really like share stuff. And I get so much great feedback about our dynamic. People are like, you guys are like, my dad is obsessed with us, by the way. My dad is just like, he was like, how did you meet her? I was like, oh, we've been friends forever. And he was like, yeah, he's like, there's just something about the way that you guys flow. What was another one? People are like, it's like being in your living room, hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
I got one last week that were like, your podcast is just like a warm hug from my parents. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how old you think I am, but thank you.
But what's interesting, Tyler, is the age difference between the two of us.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I was very worried that the chemistry that we have off screen, like just me and you, I was a little bit worried, would it translate? Because like we're friends.
We're friends.
But like, I think I'm older than your mother.
My mom's a little bit older than you.
Oh, is she?
Just a little bit though, like 2 or 3 years older than you.
How old are you?
I'll be 37 by the time this is airing, but I'm 36 at the moment.
And I'm 55.
Right.
And so I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, he could be my child. Like he could be my son. And it's so funny because a lot of the stuff that you and I talk about, I mean, like somebody said to me, like, is he really like your friend? And I'm like, he's one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
Because the stuff that we talk about here, I mean, I'll be honest, like there were some things that we talked about previously that I don't know that I would have shared those with like, the general public.
Right.
Like, like with the general population. I mean, like we were in a moment between the two of us. And I remember the very second that it came out of my mouth and I was like, ooh, should I have said that? And it isn't edited. There is no editing. There is no, oh, Glennda said a bad word or,
right.
Oh yeah, she definitely wouldn't want the world to know that. And so I think that part of the magic is I feel protected. I know you're not going to let me say anything that would, hurt me. And and the same for you. And there's just this implicit trust. And I think in any relationship, any friendship, that is really what defines it, is that implicit trust that you have with each other. So.
And I want to go back to what you were saying about how you were worried about, because we have this great dynamic when it's just us and these microphones are turned off and the cameras are not here.
Right.
I will say we talk a lot less now because every single time we have a conversation, I was like, well, I want this to be organic on the podcast.
Yeah.
I want this to be organic on the podcast.
Yeah. So it's not scripted.
It's not scripted.
There's no scripted anything. And so like you said something this morning and I was like, oh my gosh, if he goes there during the podcast, like, how am I going to package that? I was like, oh, this is so bad. Cause I am like the worst Zoom face. Like I cannot do Zoom because if somebody says something that is completely and totally stupid, I'm literally like, what the fuck are they talking about? And you can read it in my face. I can keep my mouth closed.
No, you can't.
Okay. Well, I try to keep my mouth closed. I have more control over my mouth than I do over my face.
Oh, good.
And so it's funny because I'm always this morning I was thinking to myself, if he says something about that, I know, because Denver knows me well. Denver knows when, let me dive a little bit deeper on that with her because something's about to come out. And so I was thinking to myself, Denver will see it on my face.
Are you going to give me a cue, Denver? Are you going to be like, go deeper? She's about to cry.
Well, it's funny because it's not, the crying
Ask
thing.
her about her mom.
The crying thing, you never ever know when it's going to come. But there are some things, I'll be honest with you.
Actually, what? Because I don't know what moment shocked you coming out of your mouth from last season. Are there any? What are ones that when you initially said you were like, oh?
So I talked about past love. I think it was the episode where we talked about Glennda's love life or something. And it really took me back to a moment in my life where I don't know I wasn't smart enough in that moment to realize what I had. And kind of talking about it with you, it was like, wow. Like the ability to look back, and the line is so thin between regret and reflection. And
say that again. I love that line. What did you just say?
The line is so thin between regret and reflection.
I'm putting that one in my pocket.
I hadn't ever verbalized what I had in that moment. And I realized when it came out of my mouth, and I didn't realize, I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize that there would be no edit. That it would just, whatever came out of my mouth would go out into the universe. And we're not talking just me and you.
No.
And we put the clips on our social, and there are thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of views. And I didn't really, and even when the podcast came out and I heard that part of it, I didn't really, I was like, oh goodness gracious. I was like, oh, and I can't put it back in, you know?
Right.
And somebody sent me an anonymous message. So, you have this,
No, I see you when you do those.
Yeah. So ask me anything
And
anonymously.
those really come through anonymously.
They come through anonymously.
You can't, okay. I've never used whatever that.
I have no
Is it an
idea.
app?
It's an app.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
have
I've never
no
used it.
idea who it is. And so someone sent me a message anonymously and referenced that very moment. And I don't know if they realized in my voice, holy shit, like she just really became vulnerable. I don't know what it was, but again, of the podcasts 1 through 9, because I know that there's one coming up that I can't wait to hear it again.
So, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. And so I hope that everybody who's listening realizes that we aren't, like, this is self-funded.
Right.
Like you and I write the check.
Right.
And this isn't done for we're not doing this to get a reality show. We're not doing this to, get buyers or sellers. We're not doing this to be famous. You and I you came to me and you said, hey, what about, we have really this great chemistry. We have this great friendship. What do you think about doing a podcast with this? And I thought it was a great idea. But in all honesty, I didn't ever realize the intimacy of our relationship and the translation of that to film.
I totally hear you. And I agree. Part of the reason I was motivated to do it though, is because, and I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while and I didn't know exactly which direction, but I think where my motivation lies just in general these days is helping people feel like they are not alone.
Yeah.
Because while it feels really personal to us, every single thing that we have talked about. We've talked about weight loss. We've talked about sobriety. We've talked about our love lives. We've talked about, the imposter syndromes. We've talked about all these things that most people keep to themselves. And, and I just feel like one thing that I continue to learn on my journey is like the power in knowing that it's not just you. You're not crazy.
Yeah.
And it gives you the ability to stop, separate, like disidentify from whatever that thing is and laugh at it for a second and just be like, wow, the brain is crazy. It's all in our brains, right?
Yeah.
And just getting to be honest about what the brain did to us in that moment. Because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
And I totally hear you. I mean, not... Well, I guess we could go into some lessons from the podcast with this transition because... But
wait a second. What was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment?
Of where we are 1 through 9 in reflection. What was a defining moment? For me, I told you that moment. What was yours?
So I think the most powerful moment for me, and I love this about putting out content, especially long form content. And, whenever I would watch the episodes of $1 Million Listing back, getting to see how I show up and watch myself through a loving eye, but say like, oh, that's not coming across how you meant it.
Right.
Or, wow, when you come from that place, it's so beautiful and authentic and relatable. And there was that clip. And I don't usually, I always watch my clips that are delivered to me like right before I post them, but I never go back and rewatch them. I'm just kind of like, they're out there now, whatever. But there's something really powerful about hearing yourself back, because this is just a stream of consciousness right now. But when you hear yourself back, you're like, oh, wow. Like that was strong mindset right there. And there was a clip where we were talking about, where I was telling you about learning that weight loss was not the magic for me. And it was realizing that I was going to have to fix my thinking patterns and really change the way that I view things and my perspective on things. And in that moment, whenever I was talking to you about it, I did not remember that. I did not remember. And then we got that clip and I like played it and I put it out there. That one was the one that got me the most amount of messages and the most amount of DMs. And it was like one of those moments where I was like, oh, right. When we share these things, when we share what we learned in these struggles, like I think that's what people tune in for. They also tune in because we're entertaining and we're funny and we've got good energy and like, we've stepped outside of the box and are on the other side of it and are like, look, it worked. So I think people are there for that. But I think what people relate to is whenever we're just painfully honest and say like, here's what I went through and here's what I learned. And it's not the lesson you think it is. And when I watched that, I was like, oh, I want to share more stuff like that. Like I want to bring more of that to season 2. And I want to make sure that like when I'm having these conversations with you and when I'm thinking of those things, that is something that I keep at the forefront. My favorite moment is definitely Ryan in your bed. And I got to tell you, like, coming here, this has been, I'm at the scene of the crime. I walked in, I did see so many sparkles. And I would like to note that as we open this up, we were talking about which one should be a guest room. So she's not crazy. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess you're right. But I mean, the sparkle pillows, if you just take a comparison of the pillows and the pillows.
Right. It's, by the way, it's not just sparkle pillows. You have your nightstand draped in a sequin drape. I mean, it is, the pillows aside, I was like blinded by the glare from the sun when I walked in off of your damn nightstand. Oh, Glennda.
I mean, like, don't you want to wake up to like sparkle? Like I honestly.
Sure. That's all. I'm like, somebody powder my face and put glitter on my tits. Let's go. Like,
so this is so funny.
Oh God, what's coming out?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Let it out.
You have no idea where I went. So, I have this glitter highlighter. Like highlighter, makeup highlighter.
Makeup highlighter. Okay? Right.
And so it's funny. I've noticed that if I hug somebody or I kiss them on the cheek, like I noticed recently that highlighter and that, it kind of ended up on their face. And, you just said something and I was thinking, if I put the highlighter other places, like you would really be able to tell where they had been. But anyway, I was like, that did not just go through my head.
I'm glad you shared it.
And I was thinking,
this is a safe space.
No, but I was just thinking to myself, like, I think I'm going to try this. I hope it's edible.
Wow.
Stars and stripes.
More than stars, more like stars and pipes. I'm sorry.
I mean, my stars and stripes, think about it. I mean, this is episode 1 of season 2, and we are already going
off
there.
To the races.
I love it.
Okay, before we wrap up, and I want to talk about 2 things.
Okay, go ahead.
Because we talk, obviously the reviews are in. We're very happy. We're very satisfied with the podcast. Where do you think we have room to grow?
Okay. Well, I think that really listening to the audience. Mm-hmm. So I think that season 1, it was just
our brainchild.
Yeah. We had no idea like what the audience would want to hear.
Right.
Like we didn't ask for audience feedback. We didn't ask for, hey, what do you want to hear from Tyler and Glennda? Like we didn't ask for any of that. And I think that where our room to grow is more engagement, like engagement with the audience. Mm-hmm. Because like you said, I got so many messages. Like I got so many DMs. I got so many text messages about, I just want you to know that the podcast today, like I needed it. I needed to hear it. It touched me. It changed me. It impacted me. And so for me, where I really want to see us grow is bringing in the audience. I mean, when people knew that you were coming here, they were like, oh, can I come? Like, can I come to your house and watch? Like they want an audience.
Should we do it in like a little like theater next time?
Well, we're doing that thing tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be at 8 tomorrow.
Right.
And we'll have an audience. And Denver and Logan are going to be there with us. And so I just think that it's a great opportunity to say, what do you want to hear? But then again, ask me anything anonymously. I'm going to tell you something right now. Some of the shit that they ask me anonymously, you would not believe it. Like, and I'm almost like tempted to like say, ask me and Tyler anything anonymously. Cause don't you want to know, like, if there was no like filter, like that some, like you wouldn't know that Bobby asked this question. Wouldn't you, if you could ask anything anonymous, and it's 100% anonymous. I have no idea who sends the questions. If you did that, like, I would love to hear what people want to know that they're afraid to ask, that they wouldn't ask in public, that they wouldn't ask in an audience setting, that they won't ask in a question on Instagram, but they will ask anonymously.
We're doing that right now. As soon as we're done filming this episode, I want you to post it and let's make an episode out of it tomorrow and just answer people's questions.
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody wanted me to be closer to the microphone.
Well, that was feedback because we had some volume issues. Yeah. And look at you. I mean, you were about to swallow that thing.
I know. I'm like John Mayer over here.
I know. And now they're going to be like, get Glennda away from the mic.
I told you what I did to Logan when this is only his second time here, and his first time here, like I blew his eardrums out. He had no idea that like the excitement volume, like that there was a meter, because like I will go, oh my God. And Logan, and he's trying to be nice, cause I'm the talent. Mm-hmm. And so,
Logan, how do I sound? Wow.
Oh my God. And he has on the headphones. So,
yeah. He said, you guys probably couldn't hear him, but he said we sound great.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it was like a nod of approval. Like he was really excited about it.
Yeah.
I think he was mainly looking at me, but I mean,
let me ask you a question. So you kind of made reference to something, like you do realize that you are a star, right? Like that you're a celebrity. Like you realize it, right?
I don't feel that way. I really don't. I'm not just saying that, but like because I love my level, right? Because I love just being able to walk down the street, do my thing, go shopping. And I like that pretty much every day, 3 or 4 people will in passing be like, I love you on the show.
Yeah.
Or if I'm like, because lately I've been taking the subway a lot in the city, which is very unlike me. Then now it's kind of like a nice ego stroke because I can't ride the subway without getting but my favorite kind, because I'm not always in the mood to be super chatty. A lot of times I'm thinking about my business. I'm listening to something that's really important. And I don't want people to think I'm rude, but I'm like, oh, my head is somewhere else right now. What I love is when I'm on the subway and I just kind of like glance around and randomly make eye contact with somebody and they just like mouth, they're like, I love you. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. That feels amazing to me. And of course I don't take that for granted. I know that 3 years ago, nobody knew who I was.
Yeah.
But no, it's not like, no, I don't feel like super famous by any means. I feel like I'm at a nice level of fame, but we have some big life updates coming in our next episode.
I know.
And I know we both have some exciting things to talk about. So I won't go into too much right now, but we are way beyond a pineapple.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. Pineapple. And, let me tell you one thing that we did improve from last season that you don't know, because I am, of course, the one who plays the voicemails.
Right.
So Ryan, my marketing director, he got offered his dream job. We're still lovely friends, but he took the dream job he wanted to be in like Broadway marketing. Broadway is his fantasy land, and he just loves that. Fantasyland? That sounds like I'm making fun of it. He loves Broadway, and so he got a Broadway marketing job, and I fully encouraged him to take that. So last year, whenever we did the voicemails, you and I don't hear the voicemails.
No.
We promise. When he saved them in the drive for me to play them, he did save them by the name of the person.
Right.
And so I was trying to play dumb, but sometimes when I was like going to play, I was like, oh, I know this person. Oh, I know this person. So Cam, my new marketing person, has saved them as 1, 2, 3. So I have no idea what's coming. So we're about to play number 1.
Okay, let's go. Right.
Hello, my name is Melissa, and I want to know straight up, mentors. Who were your mentors? How did they affect you in your life? I never really had a mentor. I didn't realize until I was like in my 40s. So like I had like a lot of support, but not humans that were like showing me exactly like where I needed to be in life. So I'm just curious, who were the people that catapulted you, or were there those people that like showed you exactly like where you wanted to be in your life? And I absolutely adore the two of you. All right. Thank you for listening to this. And I absolutely love everything that you both are doing, and continue on.
I love it.
I love that that's number 1.
Okay. But this is the thing is like, how do we know that, like, I hope that he saved, like, how are we going to find Melissa? Well, she listens.
She listens.
So Melissa, if you're listening, like, I just want to make sure that you like identify yourself, like, so we can like tag you or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, so interestingly enough, I've had coaches. Mm-hmm. I definitely think that they've mentored me. I don't know that I've ever had a formal mentor. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm surrounded by them.
But do they know that they're your mentor?
I guess, do we have a contract in place?
That's
no,
that's what I'm saying is like, I
consider it's like somebody that you go to. I have a thing that really ties into this is if something's important to you, don't take a poll. Don't take a poll. I think it's like an awful thing that people do. Like they're like, I'm thinking about moving, so let me ask 200 people what they think about me moving.
You do realize that when you do that, you're just looking for the person that's going to agree with what you want.
Oh yeah, it's like WebMD.
Yeah,
you're like, I think I
exactly.
have cancer, so you just find that thing that tells you you're right.
Right, exactly.
And so, I'm very big into, I do not take polls. If I want to do something, I put a plan together and I run it by like my key people. And my key people aren't necessarily my closest friends, but they are the people that I was like, they give me sound advice.
Right.
They don't have an invested interest in whether or not I actually do it.
Right. Key.
Yeah.
Do not take advice from someone who has a vested interest in your decision.
They should not be a beneficiary.
Absolutely not.
No.
Same exact thing. I have been looking at a couple of different opportunities and I had gotten some advice and I was like, oh, goodness gracious, that sounds like it might be weighted. And so I picked up the phone and called somebody and I said, hey, I really want to talk to you about this. And the reason that I'm calling you is because number one, I feel like that your intentions would be my best interest. You have no interest in what I choose to do in this particular arena. And I know that you care about me and you want what's best for me. Mm-hmm. And so when we talk about mentors, like I have those people in place, but I've never ever gone to someone and said, would you be my mentor?
I guess I haven't necessarily done that either. The two key people who come into my mind right away are my high school drama teacher was probably like my first figure of a mentor because musical theater was my safe space in high school. I loved it. I was, I really thought I was going to be a Broadway superstar. I was talented enough for the local levels. I was not talented enough to like hit it big. But I did all of the high school productions and she saw in me like how passionate I was about it. And it was her who came to me and said, you can drive now. You need to, if you are really passionate about this, you need to get outside of this school to start learning and hearing from other people and performing with other people who aren't just your classmates, who aren't, some of these people are just here because they need a credit elective. And she was like, go to community theater where everybody's there because they want to be there and because they love it and it's a hobby to them. And she was like, and see if you still love it and then grow from there. And I did. I became a big person in like the local community theater productions growing up. And it was just because of that light little nudge, and I think that's what like a mentor is there for. I also have several clients now who are super wealthy and you spend a lot of time with these people. They get to know you. And a lot of them have taken me under their wing because they're like, I see you're really building a business. You're not just like a guy going around selling houses. Yeah. You're putting out content, you're building an empire, and that's what it takes. And they love being my sounding board. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm thinking about taking this next step or this next step. They're very quick to say, you've got everything it takes, do it. Yeah. Or you're getting a little ahead of yourself. There's a few more steps. Right. And that's to me what a mentor is.
Absolutely.
Somebody that is my sounding board so that I don't feel a need to go take a poll from 500 people. Right. So I can just go to like 2 or 3 key people who have already proven their level of success and whatever it is that they've done with their life that I can trust and say, hey, thinking about doing this, I'm sure you dealt with this too, even though you've been selling real estate since Jesus was a baby. But real estate agents, the first thing we do, we're like, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. Let me talk to 100 people who are in real estate. And everybody's going to tell you, don't get into real estate. Right. It's hard. You're not going to make that much money. You go forever without a paycheck. Yeah. And all of those things are true. But I'm like, there's also many of us who are successful because we didn't take a poll. We just said, I want to be a real estate agent, so I'm going to go be a real estate agent. Yeah. So that's what I think of as a mentor. It's not necessarily like this formal contractual relationship.
And don't think it has to be. Don't think it has to be. Watch somebody who you admire. Watch somebody who you see their journey, and use that person as the wheel to kind of take your own journey.
The wheel of your wagon.
Hence the table.
Well, Melissa, I hope that helped. Thank you for
Yeah.
kicking off season 2 for us.
Yeah.
And hey, Melissa, if you're out there, will you tell every single person you know to like, share, subscribe, rate, review, and then tell all of their friends to do the same thing to all of their friends?
Absolutely.
We're starting a campaign.
I think
and it
that
starts with you, Melissa.
But I think we need to be more intentional about because like I don't even know anything about like how do you like get a podcast to like other people. Like we don't have advertising.
It's word of mouth.
It's word of mouth.
It's word of mouth.
But that's what I love about our audience is that everybody that's here is here because they found us organically. Like they want to listen to us. This is not something that's being pushed out. This is something that they're coming to us. Attraction podcasting.
Attraction versus promotion.
Exactly.
Okay. We will see y'all next week. What are we talking about next week? I just saw you look at me like that.
No.
We're talking about, we've got big life updates.
Big life updates.
Yeah. Next week is going to be a big damn episode.
But
So we'll
you
see
do
there.
realize it's not going to be next week. It's going to be like in 5 minutes when we change our clothes.
Yeah. No, I'll see you in just a second. Bye.